Welcome to our newest adventure for first responder wellness. No one fights alone. In-depth conversations about mental health and culture in the first responder space. We're joined by your co-hosts Austin Pedersen and Brad Shepard.
It's like the ASMR. You can't tell me not to judge you when this entire interaction
Why are you
that
judging me
we've had.
again?
I think it's a perpetual state.
You know, we could
that
be
I'm
great
in.
friends.
We are
except
great
for
friends.
this.
We are great friends.
See, that's
what
the
are you
problem.
talking
You
about?
feel like
Great
we
friends
are.
judge each other, just so
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like it's
I judge you.
bonding glue.
It's accountability, Bradley.
Those are completely different.
I think you're shying away from looking at that man in the mirror.
I stare straight at it.
Do you?
I do.
That's
Shirtless,
good. I
I'm
just want to
sure.
make sure
Yeah, that's what I was
that
going to say.
I'm
I feel
accountable.
like this is an outward expression. You're exemplifying of something inwardly going on with you.
I'm not going to comment on that because I haven't
Of
gone
course you
over
wouldn't.
that curriculum that you guys are using. Okay? To come up with a comeback that's adequate. So I'm going to leave that. You win. Continue breathing heavy.
He's speechless.
Can
That
you
doesn't
say-
happen very often, just so you know.
Can you say I win again?
You win.
Thanks.
You win. What does that do for you? Let's analyze that. What does that do for you, Brad?
So today, Austin, it's great to see you again. We're back in together. I always love this.
Mm-hmm.
And today we have Courtney Runnels and Emily Mourik. No, I messed it
yeah,
up again.
no, it's Mourik.
Mourik.
Yeah, you got it.
And
Emery was a
Emery.
little off.
Emery was a little off. Emily Mourik,
You
who
go.
are clinicians, full-time employed by Grapevine Police
Nope,
Department.
wrong
Nope.
again.
Shit.
Grand Prairie Police
Grand
Department.
Not even
Prairie.
close.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Just because
I
it had a
messed that up
G.
in Grand Prairie, too.
You did.
So here's the problem: is you've gone all day thinking you don't know my name, and then it
I've
is
known your name
trained
all
your
day.
brain. It's conditioned your brain. We're going Pavlov on this, Bradley. It's
No,
conditioned
I
your
knew
brain.
your name all day. It
to-
conditioned you to think that I could not remember your name.
Mm-mm. Says the one who just said we're from Grapevine.
Yeah.
Courtney, you
don't
want to
even
weigh
know
in
where
on
we were
this?
from.
Yeah.
I
We
told
love
you
you, though.
earlier, when he gets going on something, like he's been talking in third person for over a week now.
How did that start?
Yeah,
Started as a joke with
Yeah.
our
No.
CEO.
Danny was like, Danny thinks we should do this.
Mm.
And then Brad, just that one comment. It was a
Mm.
That's all it
That's all
took.
it
5
was.
seconds, and then for
Yeah.
a
Brad
week
thinks
straight.
we should do that. Brad
Yeah.
checked on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brad thinks this is okay.
He texts us every 15 minutes. Brad checked on this. It's not there
Now
yet.
that was at your request, though.
I
you
said every
said-
hour, and you were doing every 10 minutes.
I don't think so.
He wants you
I
to
think
think
it
he's
was
an overachiever.
It
Yeah.
stuck though,
Yeah.
didn't it? It feels
Yeah.
good. I
talking
can tell.
third person.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
tell.
yeah.
Feels
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I like talking about Brad.
We all know. Yeah.
And looking at Brad.
Yeah.
And being
is.
Brad.
It is very true.
Oh.
Doesn't suck like it used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've always loved yourself a little extra.
Mm.
than
It
everyone
was
else.
very unbalanced. Yeah.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. When she said you don't
It's
like to look
different.
at
I'm
the
proud
man,
of myself now.
Yeah.
she said you don't like the man in the
I'd be
mirror.
a little
I knew
unbalanced
you.
on the other direction. But it's
care.
fine.
I don't care.
I like it.
Analyze away.
Unabashedly Brad.
You know who gets to publish this?
Who? You?
Brad does.
Brad does.
But you want to know the best
Brad
part is he doesn't know how to edit, and I do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I know
This
about.
one may not make it past the cutting room.
No, I
is
think
what
it
I'm
will.
saying.
I think this will be a hit.
I feel like anytime you speak may get edited out.
That's fair. That's pretty on par with you and I's relationship up to this point. But here's the thing: you love me, Brad.
I
You
do
love
love you.
us.
I love you both.
Yeah, we love you.
So, Grand Prairie
That's it.
Wellness, tell us and the listeners about your wellness program.
Runs.
Runs.
Take it.
Runs. So
Take it and run.
I'm
that
so
one.
glad
No,
she's
it's
here.
Actually, let me pause here.
Okay.
So, I've only recently met
Brad wants to pause.
Emily,
Mhm.
and I don't remember.
Twice.
Was Louisville
No,
the
you've
first
met
time
me
we
twice.
met?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in Louisville. Yeah.
I think Louisville's the first time we met, but
Yeah.
Courtney and I have known each other a while, and we met through a mutual friend.
We did.
It
Shout
was
out
highly-
to Ashley.
Yeah, shout out to Ashley, Concerns of Police Survivors. connected us. I don't remember,
It was the
2 or
year
3 years
Hoffer
ago.
died.
Long
So
a long time ago, and then
Yeah.
we got connected then. So we've known each other a while. Not where
we got connected in 2020 because it was COVID. Because we had masks on in our pictures.
Mm.
That's
It
when we got
was-
connected. I met Ashley when Hoffer died in Euless. But yeah, it was 2020.
that is absolutely well. It actually would have been before we came down because I connected with you before, and that's how we ended up there.
Yes.
Was through hey, I know
You were texting
Courtney
me like a
with
weird stalker.
ground.
She likes that.
He does it to me too.
He did it to me
Okay.
again in Louisville too.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a couple of
Yeah.
years, and then I get this random text.
Hey, you
and
going
it's
to
like,
be at Louisville?
Hey, so you're going to be at
Your
Louisville, and I was
your
like, all
name's
right,
on there.
stalker. Who
Or
looks at the
stalker.
list of people who are
Literally,
registered for a
that
conference?
was the exact text.
Yeah.
Yeah, stalker.
All right. It's
Maybe
weird.
He probably saw you at the hotel. and
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
from far away,
Weird.
texted you.
You look tired. Is that a new car?
Your hair's darker.
Yeah.
Not even remotely Jason Bourne-ish either.
Not
It
at
was-
all.
It's more.
It's fine.
It's Brad.
Yeah. Boo. I see you.
Yes. So it had been.
So
4
that gives the
years.
listeners a little bit of background.
Mhm.
We've known each other for a while, and part of that history is coming down to Grand Prairie with some speaking groups back in the day. I don't remember if we presented or just did a networking,
It was just
I don't remember much of
networking. You went
but
somewhere
that
else
was
to
with
present.
like Doug Monda. I took a few from my nonprofit that I
Mhm.
built, and then there was a few from the
Blue Help, I think.
Blue. I don't remember if Karen was at the event, but she was in town.
Yeah.
But it was for what's the walk?
It was for for the bridge.
The
The
bridge.
in
bridge
Rockwall.
walk.
Yeah.
That's
Or
what it was.
Rowlett.
I
Yeah.
remember.
Mhm.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
But you had a great thing going then. But you were
We were just
building.
starting. Yeah, we were just starting. It was before I hired Emily. Grand Prairie hired me in 2018 to run our community-based program. So we were really focused on the CIT element and co-responding with an officer, doing all of the mental health calls, suicide in progress, all of that. And very quickly it morphed into wellness, which I think was a need they didn't know they had, because mental health was still kind of trending upward back in 2018. So officers started trusting, just being out in the field, I think helped, and started to have that conversation. And so very quickly we hired Emily in October, end of October, 1st of November of 2020. And wellness has always kind of been a secondary to our position. And it's been kind of a battle.
Voluntary.
It's been
Our
voluntary,
position.
yeah.
Yeah.
Voluntary, secondary, taking a back seat, even though, in my opinion, it's more important than community based, strictly because the healthier our officers are, the better they can respond to crisis in the community. But
it's interesting that those are very polarized philosophies.
they are.
There's it's hard to see a middle.
Yep.
You either believe that officer mental wellness,
Yeah.
mental health and wellness piece is really important, or you don't.
Well, it's the people that if you've seen first responders or you know about the culture, it's you're thinking the wellness portion is. If you're an everyday civilian living in a big city,
Yeah.
you're gonna think the opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't make the news. And, it's hard to quantify. And that's been our biggest hurdle. I think
Sure.
our admin is very on board with wellness. But, everybody's having budget problems. Everybody's having hiring freezes and having difficulty hiring cops. And so that's been our greatest challenge is we are a valuable asset in what we do to the community. But we don't have the numbers to show what an asset we are internally because I can't put a number to how many suicides we've headed off. And so I keep trying to explain to them that the most important number to me is 0. We've had 0 suicides of active law enforcement since we started. And, that's really the only number you can look at. Because we refuse to keep documentation, we refuse to keep any of that kind of thing for confidentiality purposes. And so because of that, it's been really difficult to show just how great the need is.
It's interesting you say that because the I think we were just actually talking about this on the podcast recently about when I teach or historically taught peer support. That was one of the things I would say. You'll never really know the prevention. You'll really never know the impact that you've had.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them will thank you. Most won't know the road you prevented them from going down.
Yes.
So there's no, I mean, it's a very elusive way of tracking the impact that you're having.
You're operating in the gray at
Yeah.
all times.
All times.
Yeah, very much.
Because most
You know the failures.
you do, yeah, but most places won't allow that. No clinical documentation or anything like that's a
Right.
pretty rare.
Well, for a variety of reasons.
For a variety of reasons. One, they want to make sure people are being ethical, but also they want to see the numbers. They don't necessarily want to see the names, but they want to see the numbers.
Right.
How many sessions? How long? What are you doing every day? We're paying you for X amount of hours.
Yeah.
Are we getting that out of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a conversation we're having. I mean, it's been a tightrope to walk. I think what helps us to get away from doing that is because we're still very much in the field. So Emily and I are still both co-responders in the field with officers. And so I think because they have that to quantify what we do 40 hours a week, what they don't have is the numbers to quantify what we do the other 40 hours of the week, which is the wellness that we're doing at home and on the weekends and after hours and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, and we're doing it at the risk of ourselves, because if you have a bad outcome and you don't have any clinical documentation, it's our license that's on the line. And so we're kind of trying to navigate how to walk that tightrope right now.
Can we? I just thought about this. What is this, episode 105? Something like that.
It'll be, well, somewhere in that mix. Depends on how our edit. Yeah, we're close.
You're the first 2 co-responders we've had. So can we go about that in job
Yeah.
description
Yeah,
and what
let's-
you guys
let's-
do
Yeah.
every
drill
day
down
in
on
that
a little
role?
bit, for
Because
sure.
we've treated co-responders just
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
fair, but
Yeah.
like we've never had any on the,
Okay.
the
Yeah,
podcast.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. You want to talk about it?
Sure. So we co-responder model. We partner with an officer. It's the same officer every single time. Right now, our unit has 4 clinicians and 3 officers full time. So we ride out together, and we kind of have a dual process, if you will. First and foremost, our goal is to respond on scene whenever calls for service are coming out that have any mental health component. So that looks like your, suicides in progress, your psychotic individuals, group homes, homeless camps, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when we're out on scene with our officers, we're also there with patrol, right? And their main goal is scene security, right? Making sure that we're safe. There's no, major issues with us coming up and assisting with the verbal de-escalation piece. But we get up there, we get in the mix, we wear ballistic vests, we have radios, we're in plain clothes, and so are our officers. But we're up there and we're in it, and it's a very raw look at crisis. Both of us came from the mental health authority in our counties, and crisis based, but you're still in a controlled environment, right? So the scope of mental health practice out in the field, out in that person's environment, is very unpredictable, and it's a unique set of skills I think you have to be able to speak the language of mental health, to be able to make quick assessments of the people who are experiencing crisis in the moment, but also being aware of maybe there's criminal aspects to this, maybe there's some diversion tactics we need to use here, and knowing the different avenues that we have to find a resolution, whether it's going to the hospital or whether it's going the criminal justice route and getting them into some sort of court mandated program. So we have to work very quickly, make very quick assessments, work with the officers on scene. And that usually looks like a lot of us running back and forth between different officers to make sure that the plans are communicated and everyone's good with it. Ultimately, it's the officer's decision of what they want to do, but we're just a secondary tool that they can use to have an outcome that's beneficial to everybody on scene. I think when I came into this job, I very much was interested in crisis work, but ultimately I wanted to be a resource for the officers. Being a spouse, that was very near and dear to my heart, as if anything that I can provide on a call keeps an officer safe or having to deploy any sort of use of force, that to me is a win. And you very much have to shift your idea of what success is in doing this work, because the reality is when police is showing up and it's mental health, people don't want the help. And so you don't see a very high outcome of people who are thanking you on the back end or really following through with the recommendations, which is unfortunate, but that's just the reality. So we've kind of shifted that. If we have just, you know, had one success story out in the community, that's enough for us. But if we're able to provide officers with education, to show them a way to communicate with people that could potentially keep them safe and keep that individual in crisis safe long after we're gone, that to me is a huge success. So that's what we do in the field. We also will follow up post-incident. So officers have a way to refer any interaction that they have to our unit for us to follow up on. So if they think that somebody could benefit from resources, assessment, whatever the case may be, they'll let our unit know. And then we will follow up with that individual either by phone to just assess how they're doing, provide resources, or in person. And we're typically going out to see a majority of folks, except for our juveniles because of school and scheduling and stuff. But we're knocking on the doors and we're in their environment with our officers and checking on them, seeing how they're doing. And really just trying to create a liaison with the community. You know, cops aren't always there to reprimand or because you're in trouble. Like, we really want to bridge that gap between the mental health system and our law enforcement system, because they intersect so much. And we have to bridge that gap.
So I want to take us down before we kind of dive any deeper. I do want to acknowledge. So you, Emily, you're connected to law enforcement via spouse before you got into this field, and Courtney, you have a background as well, connected in
Dispatch.
Yeah, I started as a dispatcher.
right.
She was a little hottie
So
dispatcher.
for a little bit of jovial
In her
nature,
heel, man.
Oh yeah.
was there a disconnect between what you thought went on in the field and what the reality of what you saw when you were actually going to these calls? Or was it pretty in tune with, like, this is exactly how I imagined it?
I think it was pretty in tune. I think I can speak for both of us. We having that small window into first responder culture, I think we both were getting into this wanting to see the nitty gritty of crisis. So I think
you're there and you're like, okay, yes, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
The only thing for me that was really eye-opening was after a while, just the bond and the almost the like protectiveness that you get of the people in your unit and the officers, even if it's a guy that I don't really have much of a relationship with or much rapport with, if they're in a situation where their safety's compromised or, you know, whatever the case may be, just the overall protectiveness of like, that's my brother or that's my sister. And I want to do anything in my power with the skills that I have to make this situation a little easier for them. So they aren't put in a sticky situation. And sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But that was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the population?
I want to say
It's where we need our officer Greg New.
close to 300,000.
Oh, so it's pretty big.
I
then.
think.
Yeah.
Don't get me.
Yeah, because isn't it?
We're
It reflects our sworn number.
Yeah, we have about 300 sworn and about 500 total with civilians in the department. We're smaller than Dallas and we're smaller than Arlington. If you want to reference where the Dallas Cowboys play.
I don't like them.
Well, I just thought we might.
We don't really either.
I mean, I did grow up in San Francisco, so.
Oh well, there's
49ers,
that.
Cowboys. It's a thing.
There's that.
My dad played for the 49ers. I think
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, just throw that in there.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
a little nonchalant.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
really want to
Just a
reserve
quick
time.
Wikipedia search
Oh, here we
says 2020 census reported 196,000.
196,000.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's before
so I
That's
everyone
overshot it.
definitely
Yeah,
grown though.
but it's
Yeah.
I mean,
Before
it's
everyone
clearly
moved to
growing.
Texas.
I,
Yeah.
Everyone in
having been
California
down
moved
there
to Texas.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah.
that Texas has grown like crazy.
Okay, so about
Mhm.
200,000. So I
Yeah.
was a little off.
Yeah.
I
So-
think it's grown though.
So in the state
Yeah.
of Texas, for some reason in my head, I had thought that this was like a more Colorado, California role.
Mm-hmm.
Is this spread across different counties, or are you guys the first? What's
So funny story, actually. So when I was dispatching, so my undergrad's in criminal justice and psychology, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So just went to work for a police department and decided that I wanted to get my master's degree, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And there was a guy from our local mental health authority that was actually riding out with one of our officers. And I was like, interesting. I didn't even know that existed. So I asked if I could pick his brain. He was like, yeah, this is a new program that we've started. It's a jail diversion program at the time. And so they ended up hiring me to work for that program. And that was back in 2007. So basically we worked for the county and we partnered with all law enforcement. So that was kind of right before the whole co-responder model, the whole Memphis model came about. And we started asking the police chiefs at that time, like, if you could think of a program that partnered with you, what would that look like? And they said, be out in the field with us. And so that's what we did. We started responding with any and all departments that were interested in working with us, which was a challenge because in Tarrant County, I want to say, oh gosh, I don't remember how many agencies, but there's well over 20 agencies within the county, and they all operated very differently. And so here we were trying to figure out the culture in each individual department, and some were interested in working with us, some weren't. We had a 24/7 on call at the time, so they could call us and get advice or forward us a report for us to follow up on. So we were going out as clinicians, following up with these people who had been in a mental health crisis with no officer. We're just showing up with our cell phone
And
and
in
our
heels.
mouths.
She
and
was in heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Don't
Yeah.
forget the heels.
is that dress
Looking
code?
very-
at the
It
time?
was
Yeah.
dress code. I mean, it was
Yeah.
business casual,
Yeah.
so you can't not look cute when you're in your 20s.
course.
That's it.
You know what I'm
Of course.
saying?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're on the prowl. Like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I lost my hair when I was like 25. So
Did you?
I skipped that
Yeah.
stage. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you never know when an opportunity is going to strike.
it.
So
Gotta be ready.
Yeah.
I was always ready. So we did that, and they actually made a video. They hired a videographer to
It's
follow
so
our team.
cute.
Yeah.
She straightened her hair. It's precious.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
on YouTube.
It's
There's
real
a
cute.
5-minute version on YouTube.
We'll
It's
have to
really
look
cute.
that up.
Well, yeah, and should throw it a like.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw it a like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought we were a really big deal then.
You all kind of were. You kind of
Yeah,
were
we
the
kind of
first
paved the way
to do it.
in Texas.
You don't give yourself enough credit
Yeah.
for that.
So we started to tell the chiefs, like, you really need to look at hiring a clinician internally because we can't keep trying to respond to the whole county, and more cities were getting interested. We were on the hostage negotiation team with Fort Worth PD at the time and served as their mental health advisors. So, we were really, really super busy. But the cities were like, well, we're getting this for free because it's county funded. So why would we do that? So long story short, several years went by, and some of the cities actually did start to write grants in the Tarrant County area and hired the guy that I worked with. And shortly thereafter, Grand Prairie started their own program. And so they actually met with him because they were like, we want to start something like you guys did. And so he threw my name out there. Thankfully, yes. So apparently he helped get me this job. So
The rest is history.
Like the apparently.
apparently
There, yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of backstory there.
There always is.
Yeah,
there always is.
It's complicated.
Mhm.
That's a mic off.
But here you are.
conversation.
So here I am. So we are one of the first in Grand Prairie, but we are not the first to do it.
Mm.
But
Mm.
San Antonio has a team. They had a whole HBO special.
Mhm.
Houston has a team. Dallas has a team.
Arlington.
So
Arlington.
I want to stay on the co-responder piece,
Mm-hmm.
but from a co-responder perspective, you're doing both public and
Yeah,
officer
we are.
wellness response. How's that balance?
It doesn't.
There's no balance
Yeah.
as of
Yeah.
right now.
We call that
Yeah.
burnout, just so you're aware.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you guys have never seen
Yeah.
burnout, you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Did you
Same.
find
We
that you
wear
were
it
doing
well.
that back in the day?
Same.
I mean,
I
that you
hope I
were
do.
seeing the need even then.
Absolutely.
That,
Yeah.
Hey, my skills need to be in play
Mm-hmm.
for the officers.
Yeah.
So I actually started my own private practice. To Emily's point of you don't really see people get better. I was a brand new counselor, super optimistic, wanted to help the world, and wasn't seeing anybody get better in that role. So I actually started my own private practice and have been in private practice now for probably 15 years or so. And so that's where it started to kind of morph. I started working with a lot of trauma victims, and then that bled into working with first responders. So yeah, I mean, I think we knew the need was always there, but it just had not become popular to talk about yet.
And I think too, with our position and how we're so embedded with the guys and the gals out there, having the personalities that we do and having the background with some understanding of the culture of first responders, they really, I mean, quickly trusted us.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I think we worked to
Of
get that
course.
trust, right?
Yeah.
But it's why it's so important to hire and take your time with a clinician position for this, because so much of internal wellness does start to bleed in when you have counselors embedded in the department, whether they're hired for that or not. And if you have the wrong clinician in there who's, all rainbows and
How did you make it through?
that's it. She asked that question all the time, Brad.
She was in the no pile
all the time. She had me in the no pile. She took me out of
True
the no
story.
pile. I'm not even kidding you. Yeah. Thank God she did. Best thing that,
In
best
all
decision.
fairness, I think you would be. You're delightful. I think
Thank
you
you,
would make
Brad.
a
She's a
great
rock star.
clinician
I like you.
for
I like you a lot.
cops.
Don't
I
lie.
really do.
Don't lie on the
I
podcast.
do. I
I-
love him. I love Brad.
It hurts.
He's a good
giving
dude.
you a compliment, but there it is.
She is a rock star. It's hard to hire for just in general. I mean, even as
It
a
is.
co-responder clinician, we
is.
struggle. And,
Yeah.
people may look good on paper, but then you get them in and they have the wrong personality, or
Right.
they're
Oh,
going to
we
get
have the same-
offended by this
yeah.
population. I'm sure you guys have the same problem.
Same issue.
Yeah.
Well, and then let's
But
talk
what-
about burnout on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because every single co-responder I've ever talked to says this is not what I signed up for. Besides you two, obviously, just now. You said you knew what you were getting into and the nitty-gritty of it.
I know this puts you on the spot a little bit, but I'll.
Hey,
I'll
you just interrupted his question.
Seriously.
sorry. Were you asking a question?
Gosh.
It's just Brad's world that we're living
Did
in.
you notice that he's a good interrupter?
Yeah.
He's got a skill with it, actually.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
This is me being quiet.
Well,
Since he threw me off,
please
but
continue,
I'm still,
sir.
How do you range that? Because when you hire, how many people actually stay on for 5 years, 10 years? You know,
Yeah.
that burnout rate is extremely high,
Yeah.
and they all say that it wasn't what they thought it was.
Yeah.
Can I speak to that?
Please.
She, and I'm sure it is in most departments, she does a phenomenal job taking care of us. And she will not brag on herself, so I'm going to, but she really does. I think she gets out there. She does the work herself. So she's not just like someone sitting in an office dictating what we do. She's out there in the mix. And she's fostered an environment, not just in our unit, but just the police department in general, where she has an open door. Come and talk if you have an issue. Like, there's just really a no judgment zone, and she just takes such damn good care of us. And she's good at what she does. She's incredibly intelligent in this realm of work. I mean, I've learned more than I could have ever imagined, and still every single day I'm learning more from her. So she doesn't give herself enough credit for what she brings to the table to keep us from burning out. But anytime it's something that we truly need, she trusts that we're gonna come to her and make it happen. And she does a great job. It's my girl. Love her.
Well, that's a whole nother paradigm of conversation, which is leadership. That you're talking
That's what I
about
was
just
gonna say.
great leadership. That's not even,
Yeah.
licensed counselor in mental health.
I thought you were
that's
going to
great
say
leadership.
like PTO or days off or, but
Oh.
you just,
Well, she trusts that we work hard, and when we come in, we do our shit, and we do. And, we just
There's
get
a
our
lot of
shit
perks because we can trust, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, if your team needs to take off for 2 hours to go to the doctor, like you're going to let them take off. Or if their kid gets sick, you know. I think at the same time, it goes both ways. I mean, having an amazing team makes your job a lot easier, that if you take a day off, you don't have to worry about are things getting done. But I mean, I definitely haven't always been the best at balancing work life. And I think setting boundaries is something that I definitely struggle with, especially in government, because government loves to do more with less.
Yeah.
And so I honestly
Well,
think that having
they promise you that as well.
they do promise you a lot. We've been promised a lot. And we have struggled. We have a really awesome command staff right now that's over our team, and it's the most supportive it's been in the 6 years I've been there. And so I think we're super lucky now. But having a team that holds you accountable as well is helpful. It's nice to have somebody be like, it's okay that you missed their phone call last night. Like there's an on-call number for that, you know, that kind of thing. And so, I mean, I'm an older mom, but I'm a new mom. We both are. And so I think that keeps us accountable too, because we're not replaceable at home. And so we try really hard to stay connected and stay grounded to what really matters. And that definitely changed for me when I had a kiddo.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Big time.
So
Yep.
I don't want my daughter to ever say, why wasn't mommy fill in the blank?
Yeah.
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 Well, you're not alone in that. The idealistic nature of people who work in this business, they all have trouble with boundaries.
Sure. Sure.
Move and flex.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of have to move and flex them
You do.
as needed, and then try to catch up on the back end and hope that you're not riding a negative wave, you're riding a positive wave.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm curious about your hire process. So you're seeing something. Clearly, you saw something really awesome here.
Yeah.
What is it you look for when you're in this co-responder space, or now even in the wellness space? When you start looking at the, you know, there's a lot of different leaders you can tune into across, you know, CEOs and managers that say, here's what I'm looking for, and here's the space that I want my people to work in, or what do you look for?
I don't look for the things that are teachable. So, you know, I look for things, personality, somebody who comes in and has the right personality. You can tell that I don't want to say we have to be aggressive, but we have to be very assertive. And so you have to have somebody that knows how to be assertive, but also can take a step back and take, you know, a more submissive role if they need to, because we're all working with type A personalities. And so you have to have that.
You guys
right
wouldn't know
blend.
anything about that.
I'm a little
What's
fuzzy
type
on
A?
that. What's a type
Yeah.
A?
Yeah.
We'll get
What does that
we'll
mean?
get to that in another episode.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror. You'll
I was
figure
about
it
to
out.
say.
I'll tell you when.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you can't be easily offended. You have to have, you have, especially being a female in this world, you know, and being a clinician. I mean, we're already walking in at a disadvantage there. And so you have to be able to humble yourself enough to earn their trust, but also not let them run all over you and treat you like you're a piece of shit. And so that's a balance. I look for work ethic. That's huge to me because, like you were saying, I mean, we have to, it ebbs and flows, and you know, I have to have somebody that it's like, hey, I have to go to my kid's thing tonight if there's a late call, but then you know that the next time when your kid has to do something that they're going to step in for you. So you have to have somebody that you can go in and you don't have to micromanage, because I definitely don't have time for any of that. And somebody who is able to make a decision. Yeah.
And be
That's big.
confident in it.
Yes.
That is
Make
one of
that decision.
the toughest qualities to find right
Yep.
now. There's
Yes.
a lack of confidence.
Absolutely. Even if it's the wrong decision.
Yes.
I can work with it.
Yeah.
Just make it.
Yeah.
And be able to tell me why you made it.
Yeah.
So our hiring process has changed over the years because of that. So I look for things on paper that look good, but then we have started doing a Zoom interview with everybody first. Thank you, COVID, for that, because we can weed out a lot of people right off the bat that way. And if you are good on your Zoom interview,
What's been your worst Zoom interview?
oh gosh.
I want to hear it.
There's probably been so many. I've had
No, I want to hear some.
countless.
Yeah.
There's been a lot.
Right?
There's
don't
been
even
braless
Yeah.
females with, I mean, just rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
I've had people
Um,
refuse to turn their camera on.
Yeah. With
Just-
like
yeah.
messy beds in the background. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's a long day. We've learned to only do 2 or
Whew.
3 at a time. We tried to
tough.
plan this whole day of it, and I thought we were going to go crazy.
It was bad.
Yeah.
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 that
So
was
then,
really
if you
bad.
pass that, then we bring you in for a ride out, and we have you spend 4 hours in the car with us. Yeah, that'll weed you out real quick too if you try to take our food.
Oof.
Like this girl.
This has
Do
happened.
it. Do it.
Yeah, it was like a particularly bad day, and so they had gotten. I think I had the bad day, and so like I think Emily showed up with like some sour Skittles.
No, I wasn't even there.
You weren't. Somebody got me sour Skittles because I was having a
It was
bad
Greg.
day.
It was for
Okay.
sure Greg.
Yeah. Oh, it had to be Greg.
Yeah.
So Greg's the officer that's assigned to me, and he's like my dad. So he always tries to make it better. If I have a bad
Everybody's
day,
dad.
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
he definitely
Yeah,
has to
you're
make
his.
it better.
So sour Skittles is the answer.
It was the. I go
I'm
through
gonna
phases.
remember that. So
Yeah.
next time I
Yeah,
see
phases.
you.
Right now we're on Hershey's
Mhm.
Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
With the almonds in it.
Mm.
It's really
Good
the
stuff.
toffee ones. Yeah.
Ugh.
So
You
she was
would.
like, "Can I have some of your Skittles?" And I was like, "I mean, just have the whole bag at this point."
Oh, you can.
Because you're gonna put your fingers in my bag of Skittles.
She didn't
And
do
I
like the
don't
dump in the
know
hand
you.
thing?
No.
Oh, let's see.
So we were done.
Yeah.
I texted Emily. I was like, she
Yeah.
took my Skittles. So it was done then.
Yeah.
Do you think that though it's tough hiring because most people just say I'd rather do private practice?
Yeah, or they think that all Christ is created equal.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a lot of people that have worked in the hospital setting or the local mental health authority, and they're just clueless, you know. And then you ask them why they want to work with this population, and they tell you it's because they're trying to prevent police brutality against people with
I
mental
was actually
illness.
going to ask that if you get a lot of the.
A
I
lot
want
of
to change
that.
the world.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
I have the answer.
A lot of that. That does
So-
not
Yeah.
go over well.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our officers very, very, very rarely have to fight anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely.
Right.
They're phenomenal at talking
That
people
just
in
means they have
handcuffs.
great skills.
They do have awesome
Yeah.
skills. We
Yeah.
have some really good officers. And shout out to us. We just posted a position for a new officer, and we had 12 officers put in for it,
That's
which
awesome.
is huge for a specialized
That's a
mental
great
health unit.
compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited about it. But we do some cool stuff. Group homes are our new thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So the acuity's gone up though.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you model? No, let me reframe that question.
Please.
When you're looking for the,
I like you.
I don't.
You love
I don't
me.
like
That's
her
right.
at all.
He doesn't like me. He loves me.
In this interview process or what you're looking for, how much of it is of your mindset is working with officers?
A
The
lot.
majority of it.
Mhm.
Because you're hiring a clinician, you hope that they already want to work with the mental health population.
Mhm.
So
That's
the
kind of a
majority
given,
it's-
yeah.
Well, I don't know. It should be, but
Well, that's what resonated. I mean, those
Mhm.
fights have started over
Mhm.
eating somebody else's food. I mean, cops,
It's a big
Right.
deal.
yeah,
like
It's a
you
big
got
deal.
that for me, not you.
don't touch
Yeah,
my
it's a
stuff.
big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Emily can put her hands in my Skittles.
And I do.
But that's earned.
It is
But that's earned.
absolutely
Yeah.
earned.
Yeah, that's-
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks to all manner
Yeah.
of things in your life. That means, you know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's
She has-
huge. We
she
get
does
the
have-
wrong
We
person
have
in
cried
here.
together.
Oh.
On scene.
Many a times.
yeah,
We get the wrong person in here though. It just shoots our program.
Yeah.
sure.
And it's happened.
Mhm. We get a clinician in here arguing with officers.
One person takes
Yep.
the
Well,
ruin.
it just sounds, you know, no different than any highly skilled, highly specialized unit like SWAT or bomb squad or interdiction or.
It's
K9,
not.
know,
You
the-
just have the civilian component intermingled
Right.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, this-
so that's what makes it different.
Mhm.
And it also is different because I'm a civilian manager. So it's civilian run.
Well, I was referring to your description of
Yeah.
how you
Hire.
hire
Yeah, that is
or
the same.
interview. It sounds very similar
Yeah.
to looking
Yeah.
at character and decision making and involvement. And
Yeah. And we also, I think it's been helpful for us to do the process the way we have it, because we do get to do a lot of extra things. Like, we get to do the wellness stuff. We help out our negotiators. We're on a team, a core team with the FBI, BAU out in our area to staff threat assessment cases. So we have tacked on a lot of really cool projects, and I think it draws clinicians to apply. But with this generation, you have people who just expect to get to do all of those things rather than work towards it. So that's been something we've navigated a bit. Is really getting someone in there who's willing to do the work, willing to get out there, learn the field, learn the culture, and then start to develop and doing those extra things.
So you're asking for a unicorn.
Pretty much.
I have 3 unicorns.
We have such a
Yeah.
good team.
You know, and we just recently hired another clinician, Stacy, and she actually applied for us before and interviewed, and we turned her down. And then she applied in another city and walked into her interview board, and I was on the board.
She was like, shit.
She was like, oh my God, she's everywhere. And we reposted it, and she applied. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate.
She wants to do it.
Yeah. And she came into this interview and she rocked it, and she had taken the feedback and she had applied it, and she's a rock star.
Yeah, that's so
So-
rare.
She
Yeah.
came from the jail. So she kind of speaks the same language and has to have that assertiveness that we were looking for. And that is something too that we've looked at in hiring, is we don't want cookie cutter. We don't want someone who knows everything that we know. Like, we need different perspectives. We need different populations that clinicians have served to make a whole unit.
Well, and that's
What do you want, Brad? It's outside
how
the heart.
when you do hire, I'm assuming a majority of these people are afraid of conflict.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they know what conflict would look like in our role.
Yeah.
Because there's confrontation and there's stuff like that in private practice, in different settings. But when you've got a schizophrenic
That's what I'm
person
talking
with
about
a
when I say
knife
conflict,
and officers who need information
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
it's a different level of pressure. And I
Yeah.
don't think you know how you're going to respond to that until you're in it. So that's kind of a tough thing
It
for us
is.
to really know about someone.
Yeah.
And there's been times we've had people come in and they're great at what they do, but the pressure of what we do has just been not for them.
So you're sick like us then. That's
Yeah.
just basically what
Oh.
Fucked up.
yeah.
Our
Yeah.
biggest thing is seeing,
fucked up.
especially this one
Yeah.
over here. She loves to see what she can say to make the officers blush, and
It's a daily thing.
it
No
really
way.
is.
I
They
don't
have
see it.
no idea
and
what's going to
they,
come out of her mouth.
I get them good.
Yeah.
'Cause they
I
don't
don't see it.
expect it.
I feel like you can stick with the darkness. inside
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, she can.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
skill.
Nah, I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
My husband gets a little embarrassed.
Yeah, there's a
'cause
shock
he's kind
factor.
of the quiet.
Especially with her. You
Calm
think she's
one.
innocent when you look at her, but
No.
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 It's facial
Thank
expressions. Yeah, it's facial
her
expressions.
interview, she was so innocent and dressed so innocent, and had her little loafers on.
You could turn it on though. You could turn it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
wearing
I
a
didn't
jean
know.
jacket right now, Courtney.
I know, because you got a bachelor's in fine arts,
This is true. I was a dance major before
Right.
all this.
so
I'm like building this picture of you now. And just find it all makes sense.
it does now.
Yeah.
But I was desperate.
Damn! Shit! Tell us
She
how
knows
you feel.
Yeah.
It was a Friday night. I will never forget. And
I
somebody
remember
was like,
I was at work too, and I was like, oh my god, she finally
"Yeah." We were
'Cause I
looking.
played twice.
She did. She played
She
twice.
said no twice.
It's a theme
She
with
had to
me, apparently.
dig me out of the no pile because someone I knew
Yeah.
who knew her made the connection. She's like, oh, I think I put her on.
It was the loafers. She didn't like them.
Well, she didn't have her. She wasn't licensed
Yeah.
yet,
Oh.
and I was really
Yeah.
looking for somebody licensed. So that's ultimately why she ended up in the no pile. But
and you didn't like her.
I looked her up on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, she's super cute." Okay, all right. And then I emailed her, and then she emailed me right back, and so then I was really excited. And I think we Zoomed like Monday.
Yeah, you emailed me on a Friday at like 5 something,
it
and
was
I
after
emailed
work.
you immediately back. Yeah, and then I think it was like 10 a.m. on a Monday morning.
Yeah. And then she wrote out, and we offered her the job same day.
It's a good
You
time.
two have a great connection.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very, very
I
opposite,
think one of you,
but it
I don't remember
works.
which one of you referred to as the yin and yang
Yep.
Yeah.
kind
With
of
the
each
package
other.
deal.
Yep.
I mean, just for the listeners, we were driving
Mm-hmm.
in this morning and Emily was eating a granola yogurt
It
and
was an
trying
acai bowl with bee pollen.
trying to talk to
If you're
me.
gonna say it, get it right.
And I had no idea what she just said. And Courtney said, "Oh, she said blah blah blah." Like, what the fuck?
She's usually pretty used to me just like
Yeah.
eating
And
constantly.
we did that game
The whole way there.
Yeah.
the whole way here.
Yeah, but then you started
Courtney was
talking
the
about your
interpreter.
tinnitus, so I'm pretty sure that some of that. I think a little bit of it is selective.
He's got
And
Hearing
selective
she was
misunderstanding.
waiting to
Does.
speak, intentionally waiting to speak until her mouth was full.
What
Brad
did I
has a
tell
tough time
you?
Hearing.
I said it's
Yeah,
a
he
short
does.
time frame of conversation for me before the next thought pops into my head. So whether I've got a mouthful of acai and bee pollen doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Dial back the anger.
This is how you work in crisis. You just got to shove it in your
assertive,
mouth when you
right?
can, okay? And talk while you're doing it.
We'll
We
leave.
weren't in crisis this morning. We were just driving down the road having a nice.
Well, you were driving, so they
Tour
were.
guide
We were in
crisis
crisis.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
She
was
wasn't
in crisis
She was
because
eating that thing
Yeah,
like she
that's
hadn't
a different
eaten in
conversation.
I just
2
wanted to
weeks,
stop and stargaze, and you just kept driving.
right?
Are you guys stargazing
No,
tonight? No.
no.
Hmm.
We got stars in Texas. We got them same stars in Texas.
You just can't see them.
Ours are a little better. The
It's
Mormons,
totally fine.
we have the Mormon stars. Here, so
That's
Well,
pretty important.
yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great talk.
Yeah. Oh, so are
So,
you done
We
listening
are.
to us, or
We've been talking for 45 minutes.
I feel like we do have another
time
3
flies
hours.
when you're having fun,
I
Bradley?
know you haven't
At
got all
least.
your words out today.
No, I
but
did. I'm good. I'm ready to hear
We
what
do
you
have
have to
dinner
say.
tonight too,
We
where
do
we
have-
can have
We do have to stop at
discussion
some
over
point.
drinks.
Yeah, for sure.
That's definitely where we do some of our best work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you to relapse.
We need to have you
so.
guys at Axon. Y'all need to come to
That
Axon
relapse
next
will not
year.
be tonight.
That would be so great.
Yeah, anytime.
We do a lot of work with Axon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Y'all come do the help with the spouses wellness day.
We gotta make
We
Ben
would
go
love
for
you
that.
all.
I don't want to leave
Evil
without
genius,
acknowledging that
Ben.
we did Wim Hof today,
Oh, so good.
It was good.
Yeah.
right?
So good.
You're welcome for the ice. No big deal.
Yeah,
Just
it was
2
great.
runs,
Thank
know?
you.
Thanks for the ice.
Yeah.
For the ice bath.
That's all I need. Didn't get one from Brad,
That's
but
okay. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Austin.
You are seen and heard
Thank
and
you.
appreciated.
usually it's the other way around, so I
We
like
have
it.
a lot of
Yeah.
gratitude for
Oh,
you.
God.
We have a gratitude board outside of our office.
Do you?
It's kind of
Yes.
turned into the inside joke board,
Yeah.
but we take that
course.
as gratitude too.
That's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
same thing.
great.
Yeah.
We
Grateful
try
for
to
the
promote
inside
healthy
jokes.
wellness. But yes.
So what did you
So-
need to say, Brad?
no, I was just going to follow up with the Wim Hof.
oh,
Your perspectives on.
oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
We do our yoga program at the PD and teach various
does.
breathing techniques, physiological sigh. I've known about Wim Hof. I've done it a few times on my own. Was not as successful
Yeah.
as today
Yeah.
was.
Roberto's a pro.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the music, I mean, he just did a fantastic job. But
Grand Wizard. He's the Grand Wizard.
yeah, I really think y'all have something so special here.
Yeah,
I mean,
Chateau's
all
amazing.
of the initiative and just the shit that works with this population.
Yeah.
Y'all are just like nail on the head. This
We're-
is a phenomenal place.
It took us 12 years to figure out what works.
Can I make a
Man.
proposal though?
Always.
I want you guys, I was telling Brad this, I want you guys to do a 5-day wellness retreat here for clinicians who work with this population.
Let's talk after. I've already got you beat.
Okay.
Okay,
I just need to
sweet.
find the funding.
I'll write a grant. Well, Emily will write the
Yeah.
grant. I'll do the
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
That's what we need. We need the funding. That's it.
Okay.
I've got the location. It's off.
I love this.
Yeah.
Nobody takes care of us. And today was, during that meditation, was the first time I've ever like just relaxed and given myself time to just be.
You're even
No, I
just
think
like
it
your
was really
energy.
insightful. I
Yeah.
don't know where Austin's brain is on that, but you definitely had my brain spinning. Like this could be an amazing
We need it. Nobody
place
takes
to
care
do
of us.
something really awesome.
Yeah, because we don't take care of us. Duh.
Well, that was the discussion we had,
Yeah.
right? That we
right.
preach
Right.
this.
I think self care for clinicians looks different though. You know, we preach self-care to the people we serve, but I think self-care for us looks different.
Does it?
Super intentional.
It has to be more intentional because you know everything behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you're waiting for the phone to ring.
You're
Yeah.
waiting for the phone to ring,
Yeah.
or you're judging yourself because you know you're not doing it right. I just think it looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much more critical of the process of self-care.
Yeah.
Your belief system is much different.
Yeah.
About yourself, your time, your values, all that.
Absolutely. See,
Austin
I feel validated
understands.
now, Brad.
Yeah. Validation.
Is that what you
We'll
mean?
go over
Is
that.
Does it look
We'll go
different,
over
Courtney?
that. You guys can't see it, but I have my head nod shaking.
Is it like a Valley Girl head nod?
I didn't judge
Mean
you
Girls?
on your crisis response.
Mean Girls. Yeah.
That's I'm gonna tell him. Our group chat that we have with all the clinicians in our unit, it's named Mean Girls.
Brad hasn't joined yet, but we have an HR nightmare group.
Ooh, do you? I love those kind of groups.
It's just with people who work in treatment.
That's great. That is the best ever.
Yeah.
Hell
it's
yeah.
dark, though.
It's stuff that only you would think is funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite. My mom was an ER nurse, so I grew up with gory too. So
My mom was a nurse too.
yeah, the more fucked up things you could talk about at dinner, the better.
If there was not a dinner that contained some conversation around C. diff, I
Or
must
what
not have had
men
it.
put on their penis or women stuck up their vaginas.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's crazy stuff that
You
happens
know.
there. Yeah.
I had a sleepover. I'm pretty sure it was a birthday, maybe 5th grade, 5th grade. And I vividly remember my mom was driving us to the mall and I was in the back seat and I felt brave, right? You can cut this if you want to, it's fine. But I felt brave having all my friends there and I raised my hand. I was like, Mom, what's oral sex? And she went into the description of it. And then the next morning, she brought out all of her nursing textbooks of STDs and had it all laid out on the table along with our pancakes.
Yeah.
And
She defined
Welcome
chlamydia
to
for you.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's chlamydia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
here's some syrup with that.
The bird, that's the birds. That's the real birds in the bees.
it really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no PG version in our
No.
world.
Nah.
God
need to
bless
That's a
our
mom
children.
on a mission right there.
Our kids
There's
are
not enough
doomed.
time.
That is a-
No, there's just not
That
enough
is a
time.
mom
There really
who loves
isn't.
you right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good old parenting right there.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned parenting.
Gotta love them.
I think it's words of wisdom time.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's
So
a
we
new
always
segment.
like asking our guests if they have any, and the sky's the limit because we went all over. We talked about co-responders, but if you had something to pass on to the listeners about, we've talked about self-care, we've talked about co-responders, we've talked about hiring and leadership, and if there's any nuggets of wisdom that you'd like to pass on to our listeners about how to take care of themselves or how to set up a co-responder program.
Oh gosh, come
What
to
would
Grand
that-
Prairie. We'll show you. Everybody else does.
Yeah.
As far as like words of wisdom go, I keep finding that wellness and taking care of yourself is really so much simpler than we make it out to be, and usually people already know what works for them. And just getting back to removing distractions and being in touch with who you are, especially before getting into law enforcement and all of that, it's such a simple concept, but it's such a vital concept.
Can I say simple process done by complex people?
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. Took the words right out of my mouth, Austin. That's why I like you. And that like suffering really, like in the grand scheme of things, suffering is a fleeting moment while it feels like an eternity. And when you're in it, you don't see the bigger picture for understandable reasons, right? But there's always a tomorrow, and our mindset and, the work that you guys teach, really sets people up to be able to have a future that's worth living and survive after retirement and all the things that our first responders don't always get the luxury of enjoying in life once they hang that badge up. So I'm just really thankful to be here and to be in this space and learn from Courtney and have connections with you guys, because y'all are doing the work that needs to be done out there. And so I appreciate that.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
Emily.
Yeah. Love you, Brad.
Love you.
You too,
Emily.
Austin.
There, thank you. I'd look down because
know.
she's gonna leave me out, but
No,
She has been.
Mm-mm.
Thought
my
maybe
God.
it was the bald head.
it is
No,
really
I
shiny.
It really is.
Yeah.
The blue is. It just brings it out.
Yeah.
You know.
You like my sign back there? That's
Yeah,
mine.
I
It
like
is
By the way.
good.
I
How
made
about
him
you,
get a red
Courtney?
one.
It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think mine is kind of twofold. It's staying connected to your why, and I think your why can always kind of change and move a little bit. And so, but staying connected to where that is in the moment, and knowing who your person is, and not being afraid to stay connected to your person, and that can be your person professionally, your person at home. And I think that's what really keeps you grounded. I think for a long time, I didn't identify who my people were, and I think that that's kind of what's created in this culture is you have to be stronger than everybody else. And so I think the more connected you stay to your why and the more connected you stay to your person, the more vulnerable you're willing to be. And within that vulnerability comes strength. And, that to me is really where wellness and resilience is born. But I think it's really the recipe to everything. I mean, a successful team, a successful co-responder team, a successful life, a successful marriage. We can't expect perfection, but if we stay vulnerable, then the chances are we're going to get there if we rely on the right people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I wish we had more time. We could do a whole another podcast on just the points they made there.
Bring us back.
I mean, the know
Yeah.
your why.
Preferably during ski season.
We're coming back during ski season.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a big maybe.
I want to do the ice bath in the snow.
It's a different experience.
It
bet
is a
it
different
We've
experience.
never
So
done
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Different
different
experience.
mental frame.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we have to bring
It's
our
a lot more
families.
mentally tough.
Mhm.
I bet.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
I don't like cold.
because y'all are staying out there post.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't go run inside. There's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You don't.
Very cool.
I would like to acknowledge and follow up on something Courtney said in her wisdom was about knowing your people, because I've lived on this planet a while, over 5 decades, and been through some crazy shit, and my people have changed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just having this conversation
Mhm.
about my people are way different, and when the
Yep.
shit starts getting heavy, people
Yeah.
start leaving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you start looking around, and the people that are still
Yeah.
there, those are your people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you recognize who your people are. I mean, I did this for 15 years before Emily came on board. And the first time I ever allowed myself to be vulnerable on scene or even cry after an incident was when she came. And, I think that's a huge testament to who you surround yourself with and the hiring process and trusting your gut and just knowing that it's okay,
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
thanks, Chica. She my girl.
Love you.
You two are delightful.
You're pretty good yourself.
Austin, this has been a good one.
It has.
We've enjoyed it. You've
Courtney,
been tolerable.
you love me too. You know you do.
We do love you, Brian. And
Courtney and
Austin.
Emily, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
joining us. We
you.
appreciate you. Thank you for what you do, not just for the cops in Grand Prairie, but for the population as a whole in the community. You're moving the needle greatly. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chateau Health and Wellness is a 16-bed treatment facility nestled in the foothills of the Wasatch Mountains in Midway, Utah. Chateau's First Responder Resiliency Program is designed to treat the unique challenges and issues that first responders encounter in the course of their careers. Chateau's comprehensive and highly individualized approach to treatment addresses more than just the presenting issues. It addresses the why. Each of their seasoned, trauma-trained, and culturally competent therapists utilize evidence-based, specialized therapies to treat trauma at its core and enable clients to begin the healing process while developing a resilient and healthy relationship with stress. Chateau Health and Wellness is trusted by departments and agencies from around the country to treat responders and veterans. In fact, it is one of only a handful of facilities nationwide that is vetted and approved to treat members of the Fraternal Order of Police. For more information or to speak to a representative, go to chateaurecovery.com or call 888-507-5031.